The year was 1958, and things didn't cost as much as they do now. Yearly inflation rate, 2.73%. Average cost of a new house, about $12,500. Average monthly rent, $92. Your yearly wages were around $4,500. And the cost of a gallon of gas, 25 cents.
The choice of all governmental agencies.
The lightest, tastiest margarine you can buy.
The king of rock and roll will be keeping time to non-hip bugle calls. Involuntarily retired, a gyrating guitarist's departure from the public eye left his blue jean fans all shook up, so we hear. But Elvis doesn't seem to mind at all.
If you think rock and roll is undiminished in popularity, what do you think sustains its popularity? Well, sir, rock and roll has been around for many years. It used to be called rhythm and blues. I personally don't think it will ever die completely out. Because they're going to have to get something mighty good to take its place as far as the young people. What about
right now? Back to Beaver.
Boy, Beaver.
Oh, the world was a perfect place, if you were white. Even the beef knew that.
But gee, Wally, you hang around with girls, but guys don't give you the business.
Well, that's because I'm in high school. You can do a lot of stuff in high school without getting the business.
And JFK became the next president of the United States.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Fight. Enjoy what may well be the highest standard of living in the world, whilst Africans live in poverty and misery.
A non-violent movement in the South, from Montgomery on through the Freedom Rides.
But something happened in the early 1960s. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X became a voice for equal rights.
Reactionaries in the white community. As long as they thought that Martin Luther King had things under control in Birmingham, Kennedy didn't see fit to send any troops down there. As long as the dogs were biting little black babies.
August the 11th, 1965, the bloodiest riot in 40 years of America's troubled racial history begins. The Six-Day War in Watts last August focused attention on the frustration and the anger of the American Negro living in large urban ghettos.
You go up against a whitey here, you ask him, do he have any type of work for you to do? He'll tell you no, and the next day you come up there, he's putting a white person right in the stand of him.
All white men?
Not all. Just the one that's pushing the Negro.
But yet, the schools haven't been desegregated.
It's very hard to try to explain to someone what it feels like to be black.
You're going to create a black monster down here.
Nothing can be accomplished by violence.
But that reaction is what he must fear. Burning? No telling. Looting? No telling. Blood? No telling. How can I explain something that another man may do?
This gives the police the impression that they can then go and brutalize the Negroes or suppress the Negroes or even frighten the Negroes. Whenever something happens, 20 police cars converge on one area.
The common people of Watts, the men and women who took part in the riot or support the goals of the rioters, claim that for the most part they have been ignored. Come to us, they say, if you want the truth.
First, the white man and the black man have to be able to sit down at the same table.
Trying, probing, falling.
The white man has to feel free to speak his mind without hurting the feelings of that Negro.
Resting and trying again.
But America in the 1960s, if you were black and spoke your mind, you didn't live very well.
Under the rug, out on top of the table, and take an intelligent approach to get the problem solved.
And the next thing I saw was Malcolm falling back in a dead faint.
Oh, they had shot my husband.
He sustained one shot in the lower right chin, and the other 6 hit him in the chest and body.
So there's no practical or moral answer.
This is the CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite.
Good evening. Dr. Martin Luther King, the apostle of nonviolence in the civil rights movement, has been shot to death in Memphis, Tennessee.
I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners
Will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood? I have a dream.
A long time coming, but I know a change gonna come.
A change in the world is coming.
The President's car has just turned in our Spruce Line lane, coming in from Nebraska Avenue. Car with the flags, first car in the procession. Rounding the turn. Secret Service cars, newsmen behind him. Meanwhile, a great number of dignitaries have arrived there. For that story, to David Brinkley.
The cameras you see before you are color cameras. They are now transmitting a black and white picture. By pressing this button, which I now do, the cameras are transmitting a live color picture.
I congratulate every citizen whose understanding of this nation, of the world, will be made better and fuller by this development. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Color TV.
The war in Vietnam is not like these other wars. Yet, finally, war is always the same. It is young men dying in the fullness of their promise. It is trying to kill a man that you do not even know well enough to hate. To know war is to know that there is still madness in this world. Or we have children to teach.
And America lands on the moon.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely.
We have a liftoff. What a moment. Man on the way to the moon. It seems that the whole world has stopped.
30 seconds.
Oh, jeez.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
On this July 20th, 1969.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Man has landed there, and man has taken his first steps there. I wonder just what there is to add to that.
This represents 1 million records sold. They actually have sold 2 million, and they'll get a platinum record in addition to the gold one. Ladies and gentlemen, please greet for their first visit, the Jackson 5.
Right now, here they are again singing
At the age of 5 years old, Michael makes his TV debut.
And the adults like it too.
Describe the performance that you put on.
Well, whatever I sing, that's what I really mean.
In the Jackson 5, they took off.
We shall answer to God.
And Richard Nixon was the president, but the real question is, did Forrest Gump really make the call that busted Watergate wide open?
Yeah, sir. You might want to send a maintenance man over to that office across the way. The lights are off and they must be looking for a fuse box or something, because them flashlights, they're keeping me awake. Thank you. Good night.
And Nixon, replaced by Vice President Gerald Ford.
Therefore, I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow. Vice President Ford will be sworn in as president.
My fellow Americans, our long national nightmare is over.
Sylvia Chase has a report.
The Jackson 5 continued their success in the coming years.
Michael Jackson is a superstar, and the group is sensational. Kate Jackson persuaded her husband, a weekend musician himself, to take over the act. A steel worker, Joe started moonlighting as his son's manager. It's his full-time job now.
I decided to deal with the boys as much as I possibly can as far as rehearsing them and getting them prepared to be
At 21, somehow Michael still manages that little boy voice. Jacksons now exert total control of their product, writing, arranging, and producing music that fits any radio playlist, from contemporary to disco. This hit, Shake Your Body Down, is a 2 million record seller. In 10 years, the Jacksons have sold 93 million records, more than any group but the Beatles. Their current tour, 51 cities in 2 months, will gross about $7.5 million. Shake your body down. On the road, theirs is a life of back doors and security guards, quick entries and exits. Today, the Jacksons travel first class. Pain makes them vulnerable. Michael's provocative flirtation undoes even the most elaborate security system. At this point, Michael really is kind of the mainstay of the Jacksons. Has it always been that way?
Yes.
Though he dances away from such encounters, Michael is uncomfortable, he confesses, with the process of getting acquainted. At your concerts, there are hundreds of people in the audience yelling, "Michael, Michael!" What do you feel like?
When they're all holding hands and everybody's rocking and all colors of people are there, all races, and it's the most wonderful thing, and politicians can't even do that.
So together, in a spirit of individual sacrifice for the common good, we must simply do our best.
Michael was ready to go solo with his debut album, Off the Wall.
I feel like I want to rock.
Michael cut an album without his brothers in August. It's called Off the Wall, and it's headed for triple platinum, meaning 3 million sold. This song, Rock With You, is from the album.
I wanna rock with you all night. Dance you in the day.
You hear it everywhere. It seems to have become the skater's anthem in Southern California. 2 months after its release, Rock With You is still climbing the charts.
Let me see here.
And the awards and sales began flowing in.
Michael Jackson!
Released in 1979, Off the Wall has sold 20 million albums to date.
And the winner is, you got the info? Off the Wall, Michael Jackson.
This is wonderful. Thank you again to everybody. I'm really happy. Thank you, Quincy.
But off stage, he's changed.
To let you go, but I see you.
Michael's quiet now. When he was younger, he wasn't that quiet. But I don't know. I think the stage might have done that to him.
But people won't deal with me in that way because they see me differently. They won't talk to me like they will the next door neighbor. On stage, for me, is the greatest place in the world. It's just, you just light up on stage. It's magic.
Don't Stop Till You Get Enough is Michael's own composition. Within 2 weeks of its release last summer, it was in the top 50, and by October it was #1. It's still on the charts.
Love is my message.
1 quick minute. Tonight is a night for film. What are your plans in film coming up?
We're going to do something soon. He's going to play my son.
In 1978, Michael completed his role for The Wiz with Diana Ross.
I knew that you were going to be a giant star. I really did.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, but I didn't know. What I didn't know is that you were going to get so sexy.
monsters do have their place. In the zoo, in your nightmares, in the deep, in your favorite horror movies.
TV was changing, and a new form known as cable was born. And free TV was at risk.
Sign the petition in the lobby of this theater. Let your lawmakers know how you feel in the fight against pay TV and cable TV.
And the launch of MTV began on August 1st, 1981.
We've gone for main engine start. We have main engine start.
Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll.
In late 1982, Quincy gathered his A-team at Westlake Studios in Los Angeles. It was here they set about recording what was to become the biggest-selling album of all time.
And so Michael began working on his sixth studio album, Thriller.
Quincy goes into the control room. We're all standing there waiting to see what he's going to say. We wanted the sonic values of Thriller to really recharge the industry.
From the start, they were under immense time pressure.
Well, he'll make you do a thing until it's perfect. He'll say, it's beautiful, we have a take. Then he'll say, well, can you give us one more?
I immediately picked it up as a nickname for it.
Man, you're just in time too, Smelly.
More kicking stuff in the phones, I need it. More bottom and kick in the phones.
This is his home demo, which he brought into the studio for Quincy and the team to hear. Together they worked their magic and produced one of the standout tracks on the album.
And if you wanted your music videos played on MTV and you were black, well, unless you have Paul McCartney or Eddie Van Halen on your song.
Quincy's final masterstroke was to call in one of America's rock legends.
I decided to call Eddie Van Halen, and I didn't know him, to come play the solo on Beat It. And Eddie came in, so I'm not going to sit here trying to tell you what to play. The reason you're here is because what you do play. So let's try 3 or 4 takes and sculpt it. And look, we did. And he played his ass off.
And on November 30th, 1982, Thriller was released to the world. At first it was slow in the sales, but then it went on to sell an estimated 65 million copies worldwide, making it the best-selling album of all time.
I mean, the music business isn't exactly going gangbusters, and yet you continue to sell records so well.
Every time I get a platinum album, it's nothing taken lightly on my behalf. I'm always honored, and it's great thanks, you know.
Available at all Sam Goody stores for $6.99 LP, $7.49 tape.
I'm honored that the public enjoy what I do.
And on that day in history, Michael Jackson moonwalked for the first time ever. Does anyone remember the Pepsi commercial? The one where he caught his hair on fire and the medics had to take him to the hospital for third-degree burns on his scalp? Michael Jackson became one of the first black artists to be played on MTV. And we'll return after this word from our sponsor.
His feet got the beat, he's cool and he's neat, it's Michael. Yeah, Michael. Dancing on air, this dog can't compare, it's Michael. Yeah, Michael. There's an outfit called Thriller, it's no fright. Then there's Billie Jean and Beat It, looking just right. And 3 of the outfits, they're all out of sight. Like Michael from head to toe. Put the mic in his hand and he'll steal the show.
I love you, Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson doll, new from LJN.
Michael had a love for animals of all kinds.
He has a lot of animals. A llama.
Yeah, I love animals.
But you've never been scared by snakes?
I think he's great.
What other animals do you have?
A llama, South American llama, 2 deer, Prince and Princess are their names. I raised them on the bottom. They're little baby fawns. He looks like a ram, but he's a sheep. He's a Mouflon sheep. His name is Mr. Tibbs.
Like the film.
Right, right.
Yeah. And this is mussels. And I got all kinds of birds and swans.
What about the what is it? A leopard on the cover of the record?
Mm-hmm.
Is that yours?
No, it isn't. I had a big tiger over last weekend.
Used to wear at the house?
I love it.
Really?
Yeah. Huge, and I had a baby chimpanzee.
What's extraordinary about all this is that Quincy is wiping his face.
When Michael did it, half of it would come off on a napkin, though. I'm starting to look as bad as Michael did.
So coming out, these incredible, awful-looking dead creatures come out and try to hurt us. As they close in on us, an amazing thing happens, you know.
The fellow who did the
Trading Places, Werewolf in London, Twilight Zone, National Anthem.
On the set of the Thriller music video, Quincy and Michael talk about predictions for the future.
The most revolutionary thing in the history of videos.
Well, the videos are getting to be...
Thriller is the 7th and final single released from the album Thriller. It got saturation play on MTV and has been seen more than 149 million times on YouTube. $13,597 participants, the largest number of people doing the Thriller zombie dance routine, according to the Guinness Book of World Records.
Tonight, on a special holiday edition of Friday Night Videos, the network television premiere of Michael Jackson's Thriller.
I'll take you.
We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Just get in and talk about it.
I've got to go home.
Oh, come on, Carrie. We're going to a new place.
She wants to go home, right? Let's go.
Whoa.
You okay to drive? Yeah, I'm fine. You sure?
Relax.
What's a few beers?
If you don't stop your friend from drinking and driving, you're as good as dead. Drinking and driving can kill a friendship.
To Michael Jackson, with appreciation for the outstanding example you have set for the youth of America and the world. Drinking and driving can kill a friendship.
But something in the world was changing. A new horizon.
They're calling this one a landslide. Voters have proven the polls were right, returning Ronald Reagan to the White House for another 4 years.
Let history say of us, these were golden years when the American Revolution was reborn, when freedom gained new life and America reached for her best.
Considering its quality and size, the compact disc most certainly will become a part of our everyday lives in the future.
In the long run, it's going to become a revolution. Pop it in, play it, sit down, relax, enjoy the music.
In Ethiopia, 7 million people are threatened by starvation. Thousands have already died. The famine caused by drought is the worst in living memory, and now the rains have failed again for the third year in succession. The relief organisations are doing all they can, but there just isn't enough food to go around. One of the worst hit areas is in the north of the country, where the problem has been complicated by 2 secessionist wars in Eritrea and Tigray. 40,000 refugees have converged on the town of Korum in the hope of getting some food and medical aid.
We Are the World is a song and charity single originally recorded by the supergroup United Support of Artists for Africa in 1985. It was written by Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie and produced by Quincy Jones for the album We Are the World. Following the devastation caused by the magnitude 7.0 earthquake in Haiti on January 12, 2010, a remake of the song by another all-star cast of singers was recorded on February 1, 2010, entitled We Are the World 25 for Haiti. It was released as a single on February 12, 2010, and proceeds from the record aided survivors in the impoverished country. We'll return after a few messages from our sponsor.
That has all these.
You're just another part of me. The way you make me feel. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I just can't stop loving you.
All these and more. There's still no other album quite like it.
40 million copies of his last LP, which was called Thriller. But that was 4 years ago. Since then, he's been searching for the inspiration to be able to do it again. Now, Mr. Jackson's come up with something that's bad. That's the title of his new album, which went on sale in America yesterday. Bob Friend reports on the singer, his latest songs, and his ever-changing image.
They were queuing all over America, snapping up the first copies of Michael Jackson's latest offering. It's called Bad, but it was a good day at the record shop tills. This was the Michael Jackson we used to know. After 5 years of comparative seclusion, he's changed his image. Long hair, an even gentler look.
It's a lot of talk. A lot of people are talking about it and how foolish he looks.
The look, well, the new look is not too hot, but the album is great, and he's a great entertainer.
What's been the reaction to the new record?
Michael Madness. You've heard of Beatlemania. This is Michael Madness. Everybody's coming in and buying Michael Jackson.
His Bad Tour grossed $252 million from 1987 to 1989, with 123 shows and an estimated 5 million people in attendance. The Bad Tour was Jackson's first solo concert run. Beginning in Tokyo, the tour lasted for 16 months, during which Jackson visited 15 countries and performed to over 4.4 million people. 7 sold-out shows at London's Wembley Stadium attracted more than 500,000 people, including Diana, Princess of Wales, setting a new world record for playing more dates at the stadium than any other artist. The Bad Tour was later recognized as the most highly attended and highest-earning tour of all time, having grossed over $252 million. The Bad album has sold 20 million units to date.
Well, I don't want to take them off really, but okay. Well, Katharine Hepburn, who is a dear friend of mine, she told me I should, and I'm doing it for her, okay? And the girls in the back.
Michael Jackson, who can sing, and is a good-looking guy, but ain't the most masculine fellow in the world. Mike, no, too, he be using women in concerts. I seen Mike walk up to girls on the stage, be in the audience, he say, "Is it all right if I come down there and sing to you?" And the women go, "Ah!" If you hear that record, She's Out of My Life, Michael go, "So I've learned that love's not possession, and I've learned that love won't win. I've learned that love needs expression, but I learned to win."
I'm opposed to communism, race mixing, and low morals, and homosexuals are of low morals in my opinion.
But where did all this hate come from? Was it in the past? What do we blame for it? Who do we blame for it?
And I just hate to think that someone is going to get hurt before the people get some sense about it and talk about this and get it like it's supposed to be.
A look at East Germany tonight, and the overwhelming impression is this: the people have their government on the run.
This meeting ended 72 years of conflict between Moscow and the Vatican. When the two men emerged after an hour and a quarter of private talk, all the animosities seemed to have become history.
The Berlin Wall.
Something that we'd like to present to Eddie, and I'll let Michael tell you the rest.
Present it to the king of comedy, Eddie Murphy, the greatest comedian of all time, the king.
The 16th Annual American Music Award.
And now the American Music Award of Achievement.
Jackson's other achievements include 39 Guinness World Records, including one of the most successful entertainers of all time, 13 Grammy Awards, along with special awards, the Grammy Legends and Grammy Lifetime, 26 American Music Awards, 16 World Music Awards, and an estimated sale of 1 billion units worldwide.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Brilliant new album, Dangerous, from Michael Jackson.
Dangerous.
14 new songs, including the #1 single. 76 minutes of great music. Get Dangerous.
This is behind the scenes on the Black or White short film. And that's John Landis, our director. He's done so many great feature films. Coming to America, American Werewolf in London, The Blues Brothers. He's done 3 of my short films, and I always have a great time working with John because he's a lot of fun. Where's Mac? Where's Mac? In appreciation for working on the Black or White short film, we'd like to say thank you, and we love you, and we think
And
you've
John?
done
And
a
John?
wonderful job.
John?
Because
What,
every-
Mac? John.
What, Mac?
The technique we're using here has become known as morphing, and that's short for transformation or metamorphosing. We'll select the eyes and the mouth and the nose, and then we let the computer run the transformation. It can take 4 or 5 hours just to run the frames for a second of transformation.
As Michael completed the music video for Black or White, new tensions were rising again between the people and the police in Los Angeles.
Have you ever been face to face with a police officer and wondered
Is he about to kick my ass? Well, wonder no more. If you follow these easy tips, you'll be fine. Obey the law. Use common sense. Stop immediately. Turn that off. Be polite. Shut the fuck up. Get a white friend. And last but not least, don't ride with a mad woman. If you follow these simple pointers, you probably won't get your ass kicked by the police.
The bloody, battered face at the center of the first viral video ever. That beating went on for 15 minutes, with 4 LA police officers pounding King with batons, kicking him, shooting him with stun guns.
Not guilty of the crime of assault by force likely.
And when they were acquitted by a jury with no blacks on it.
Night approaches, police and National Guard units are out in force. Federal troops are on standby. Violence in the city appeared to die down a bit today, but the toll is obvious. 37 people dead, more than 1,300 injured, more than 4,000 arrested. Damage estimate, $200 million and rising.
I want to say, you know, can we all get along? Making it horrible for the older people and the kids.
The South Central Los Angeles neighborhood where Susan and Roger Cortez live with their 2 children never was good. Now, because of the violence of the past few days, it's a wreck.
It was like Vietnam. That's exactly like it was here, a battlefield.
4,000 National Guard troops have joined the contingent of police and California Highway Patrol officers on the streets. More are on the way.
I'm 39, be 40 in a couple months, and so help me God I never seen. Parents teaching children to steal. I mean, breaking the windows down and pushing the kids in the store to steal. If I had done that, my mom would beat the stuffers out of me if she had called me stealing. But these parents teaching their kids to steal, I can't understand it.
For gangs, clubs, and nations, causing grief in human relations. It's a turf war on a global scale. I'm not gonna spend my life being a color.
The looting and stealing was out of control as the riots continued, and Michael made an announcement about how the Los Angeles Police Department treated him.
I have been forced to submit to a dehumanizing and humiliating examination by the Santa Barbara County Sheriff Department and the Los Angeles Police Department earlier this week. They served a search warrant on me which allowed them to view and photograph my body, including my penis, my buttocks, my lower torso, thighs, and any other area that they wanted to. They were supposedly looking for any discoloration, spotting, blotches, or other evidence of a skin color disorder called vitiligo, which I have previously spoken about. The warrant also directed me to cooperate in any examination of my body by their physician to determine the condition of my skin, including whether I have vitiligo or any other skin disorder.
But who was the accusers of Michael?
I think everything that happens in Hollywood has something to do with the film industry. It seems to just interlink throughout the whole community.
And the Michael Jackson scandal is no exception. It appears that the father of the alleged victim wanted to get in the movies in the world's worst way. What followed then was like a Hollywood script. He landed a deal with Mel Brooks in the movie Robin Hood, Men in Tights.
Unlike some other Robin Hoods, I can speak with an English accent.
The father of the alleged victim even received a coveted screen credit for the Robin Hood movie. We are masking his name to protect his identity.
We're men, manly men, we're men in tights. Yeah!
The father is a Hollywood dentist, seen here for the very first time. How did he get that lucrative movie deal? Veteran celebrity columnist Janet Charlton says that after the Robin Hood deal, the dentist was bitten by the Hollywood bug and looking for bigger fish. Michael Jackson was allegedly his target.
I would imagine a dentist for the stars would be exposed to a lot of the glamour in Hollywood. He can see his successful customers talking on the phone, making deals, and it looks so easy to someone on the outside, you know? And he figured he wanted to get a little piece of the pie.
If I go through with this, I'll get big time. I will get everything I want. There will be great.
Since August 1993, the Los Angeles Police Department, the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Department, the Santa Barbara District Attorney's Office, and the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office have been investigating allegations of child abuse involving singer Michael Jackson. That investigation is now complete.
In 1993, a civil statement was made by Mr. Jackson's insurance company and was not within Mr. Jackson's control. The settlement agreement was for global claims of negligence, and the lawsuit was defended by Mr. Jackson's insurance carrier. The insurance carrier negotiated and paid the settlement over the protest of Mr. Jackson and his personal legal counsel.
For this investigation has recently informed us that he does not wish to participate in any criminal proceeding where he is named as a victim.
This kid was given sodium amytal. I think it's what it's called. It's a truth
And even
serum.
the most unlikely voice spoke up.
They call it a truth serum, but it's also been used while people are under its spell to plant false images in their heads. And when they come off the drug, they think that what they thought didn't actually happen.
Good. Make any difference in your feeling? How? It's like seventh heaven. What is it? Tell me about it. Oh. Yes, go on. You remember it now. Tell me. It's all right now, but you can tell me.
So now people are speculating that Michael Jackson was set up, that the dentist was involved, used the kid as a tool. But how many of you have been thinking Michael Jackson was guilty for the whole year simply because the press had all these people?
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
Where did that he thing come from? It just comes out of singing. Wait. Bam. I gave my money, I gave my time, I gave her everything in life one heart could find. It doesn't seem to matter and it doesn't seem right, but the will is right, no functions till I cry alone at night. Don't you judge of my composure, cause I'm bothered every day. And she didn't leave a letter, she just up and ran away. Ow! Fabulous. Who is it? I mean, you wanted me to do it.
I like you very much.
I get embarrassed.
Thank you
I'm
very
sorry
much
I get embarrassed.
We're going to come right back with more of Michael Jackson live. That was great. I love that. That was great.
Why do you always grab your crotch? Why do I grab my crotch?
Yeah, why? We think you got a thing with your crotch going on.
I think it happens subliminally. When I dance, if you're a dancer, you know you're just interpreting the sounds in the accompaniment of the music. If there's a driving bass, you become the bass. If there's a cello, if there's a string, you become that. So you become the emotion of what that sound is. Okay? So if I'm doing a movement and I go bam and I grab myself, it's the music that compels me to do it. It's not saying I'm getting ready to grab down there and it's not a great play. You don't think about it, it just happens.
And what about the face that kept on changing? The skin that kept getting lighter?
What you have done or are doing, are you bleaching your skin? And is your skin lighter because you don't like being black?
Okay, number one, as I know of, there is no such thing as skin bleaching. I have never seen it. I don't know what it is.
Well, they used to have those products growing up. I used to hear, always use bleach and glow, but you'd have to have about 300,000 gallons to...
Okay, number one, this is the situation. I have a skin disorder that destroys the pigmentation of the skin. It's something that I cannot help. Okay, but when people make up stories that I don't want to be who I am, it hurts me.
When did the color of your skin start to change?
Oh boy, sometime after Thriller, or an Off the Wall Thriller.
And what did you think? I mean,
it's in my family. My father said it's on his side. I can't control it. I don't understand. I mean, it makes me very sad.
We've made you this statue to show our appreciation for all you've done for music and MTV. And here it is, and it's rather large. Thank you very much. He has landed.
20th Annual American Music Awards.
Now, the inscription on your award says, in recognition of his record-breaking international concert tours and his album sales, and his heartfelt efforts to make this world a better place, the American Music Awards presents its first International Artist Award to Michael Jackson, January 25th, 1993. And in addition, that's not all, in addition, the American Music Awards are proud to announce that when the award is given in the future, it'll be known as the Michael Jackson International Artist Award. So, congratulations, Michael. I know you should be smiling from ear to ear. I know you better smile even deeper than that. I want to see gums. That's how deep I want to see the smile. Congratulations.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, all my friends. Traveling the world has been a great education for me. And if there's one insight I've had, it is this. Wherever you go, in every country, on every continent, people yearn and hunger for only one thing, to love and be loved. Love transcends international boundaries, and it heals the wounds of hatred, racial prejudice, bigotry, and ignorance. It is the ultimate truth at the heart of all creation. I would also like to thank God and my mother and father, Catherine and Joseph Jackson. Thank you once again. I love you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, Radio City Music Hall Productions and the National Football League proudly present an unprecedented Super Bowl spectacular starring Michael Jackson.
On January 31st, 1993, Michael Jackson performs during halftime at Super Bowl 27 between the Dallas Cowboys and Buffalo Bills at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. Michael performs his hits Jam, Billie Jean, and Black or White, among others, in front of 90+ million people.
Everybody, this is the camera, so give it your best.
Remember the time Michael employs Magic Johnson, Eddie Murphy, I-Man, and director John Singleton to help. The music video was nominated for the Soul Train music video for Best R&B Soul Video of the Year.
And boom! It's like, oh, he appears. It's like Michael Jackson. And the music starts. You're like, do you remember the time we fell in love? Do you remember the time when we first met? Good cut.
Do you remember, girl? On the phone, you and me. Till dawn, till 3. What about us, girl? Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it.
Dangerous has sold over 30 million albums worldwide. 7 million albums were shipped in the United States alone, and it has been cited as one of the best-selling albums of all time.
Right about here. I'm late, and I don't want y'all to think that I'm running and I'm a punk because the mind didn't move from the bird. But it's two ways to react in a situation like that. You can run or be real still. And she's just being real still.
Well, she's as horrified as I am.
Now I'm very happy to present the Grammy Legend Award for 1993 to my big brother, Michael Jackson. I want to tell you how proud I am of you and how much you've inspired me and how proud I am to be your sister and how much I love you. I do.
In the past month, I've gone from where is he to here he is again.
1994 to 1995, computers and the internet took off, and we had a lot of questions.
Every film ever shot could be viewed instantly in your home via an information superhighway.
Just what is this main artery of the information superhighway?
America Online introduces new version 4.0.
There has never been a better time to get online. It's my connection to the world.
America Online, so easy to use, no wonder it's #1.
That little mark with the A and then the ring around it?
At?
See, that's what I said. Katie said she thought it was about.
Every business, no matter how large and no matter how small, will be on the internet in the year 2000. It's the primary way that people will look up information. It will replace the yellow pages as we know it today.
Are a lot of people just getting on to the internet because they feel that they have to get onto the playing field, so to speak?
Well, it's very hip to be on the internet right now.
Get connected.
I'm afraid that if I subscribed to something like internet, you would really be hooked. I would get hooked and I would never, spend time with my family.
At least when you're home, if the phone rings, you have the option of not answering it. On the internet, people can send you messages all the time you don't even want to hear from.
The secret wedding and now secret honeymoon of the King of Pop and the daughter of the King of Rock is taking on a media life of its own, and E.T. covers the hoopla.
The competition between the papers is absolutely fierce. It's like World War III. A picture of the two of them would be worth, I don't know, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. A picture of them cuddling together.
I got a shot of somebody who looked like Lisa Presley. Actually, when everybody else starts to come by, that's the time not to come by, because then you can be sure that it's not going to happen.
Then be prepared to wait. This crowd isn't going anywhere.
This story is not cooling down, and don't expect it to cool down. It's going to keep going and going and going until we have Jacko in the palm of our hands.
Probably. The Jackson Presley story is big news overseas as well. A Moscow paper says the marriage wrecks the dreams of Russian girls who would rather see Jackson as gay or a child molester, or believe it or not, a serial killer. Anything but a happily married man.
With a new marriage and tabloids having a feeding
Brandon
frenzy,
know,
Michael even got online and answered a few questions from the internet.
A long-time fan, and I just want to know how, after all the bad press, you can keep going and doing the best job that any rock star can do. Is it the fact that you have such a wonderful wife supporting you? Or are there other reasons you stay so damn great? That little southern thing in there. Despite of what the press say about celebrities or myself in general, I move ahead. I don't pay attention to it because it's garbage, it's tabloid junk, and it's not important to me.
Live from the Sony Pictures Studios in Los Angeles, California, once again, Diane Sawyer.
We have some wedding video of the two of you, and I'm going to let you tell us a little bit about what we're seeing here. If our director, Roger Goodman, wants to roll it in, we will take you there a year ago, right?
Yes.
Just about exactly.
I look like an idiot, I can tell you that.
You don't look like an idiot. You look more like a, no.
And you do the same thing. When you put this ring, as you said, with this ring, I do that.
Right now?
So, I know that you, Lisa Marie, have wanted to talk about this. There are a lot of doubters about this marriage. I've heard that it's a Scientology plan. You are a member of the Church of Scientology, which is said to influence its members greatly, and that the husband you divorced was Scientologist, and he's still very much in your life, and this is all part of a calculation to get Michael and his money into the church.
Yeah, it's crap.
Michael and Lisa Marie, together, filmed the music video for You Are Not Alone.
What do I love most about him? Everything. He's amazing. I really admire him. I respect him. I admire him. I'm in love with him. And no, we don't sleep in separate bedrooms. Thank you very much.
Your fans had one question they most wanted to ask of you.
Do we have sex?
We have. You.
She didn't ask.
I don't ask.
I won't ask. Okay.
You don't know what it was going to be.
Is that what you were going to ask?
Let's play just a minute or two.
Sorry.
Let's play one or two.
We want to know if you've done the thing.
Michael, I know that this is an intimate question, but are you having sex together with Lisa Marie?
Do you guys really love each other, or you're just doing this to satisfy the media?
Are you guys intimate?
Again, I can't believe it. But this is about the skepticism.
Yes, yes, yes.
They even appeared at the MTV Video Music Awards, and the kiss heard around the world. And in 1996, Michael and Lisa divorced. Michael then remarried to Debbie Rowe from 1996 to 1999. They had 2 kids together, Michael Joseph Jackson Jr. and Paris Michael Catherine Jackson. Michael also had Prince Michael Jackson II, born to a surrogate.
Next week will go down in history as MTV becomes MJTV. It's all Michael Jackson all week when Michael takes over the channel. We're bringing you 5 nights of Michael.
And Princess Diana is killed with 2 others in a car accident by the paparazzi.
Seriously injured, and 2 other people have died following a car crash in Paris. Police confirm the crash has killed Diana's companion, film producer Dodi Al-Fayed, and the chauffeur. You are looking at unedited video from the scene where it happened this morning at midnight time in Paris.
I met her first at my concert in London. She was very kind. Are you gonna do Dirty Diana? I said, no, I took it out of the show because of you. She goes, no, I want you to do it. Do it. Do the song.
So she had a sense of humor with you?
Yeah.
How did you hear about her death?
My doctor gave me the news. I've been living in that kind of life all my life. The tabloid press, that kind of press, not the press, the tabloid, the paparazzi, that type. I've been running for my life like that, hiding, getting away. You can't go that way because they're over there. I go around the world dealing with running and hiding. I can't take a walk in the park. I can't go to the store. I have to hide in a room. So you feel like you're in prison.
What's the worst?
They've always have been. They go as far as to hiding in the places. They'll slide a machine up under the toilet. You go, oh my God. They've done that.
There are those who would say that you add to the attention.
No.
Well, the masks, the mysterious behavior.
There's no mysterious behavior. There's a time when I give a concert, I like to have as many people want to come and enjoy the show. And there's a time where you like to be in private when you put on your pajamas, go to sleep, cut off the light, ding, and lay down. That's your private space.
Because the press also sometimes has to look into things, be tough. Can't always be kind.
What you saw it happen to Lady Diana, you tell me.
You canceled the concert you were about to do when you heard of Diana's death.
Yes.
And when you finally did a concert, you dedicated your concert to her. What did you say?
In my heart, I was saying, I love you, Diana. Shine and shine on forever. Because you are the true princess of the people.
I grew up in a fishbowl. I will not allow that to happen to my son. Yet when your son was born, you sold pictures to the National Enquirer and to other European papers, tabloids. Why did you do that?
Why?
Why?
because there was a race. There were some illegal pictures out. Illegally, somebody had taken pictures of the baby, millions of dollars, and said, here's Michael's son.
And it wasn't, as I remember.
It wasn't. So I took the pictures of the baby, said, they're forcing me to get his pictures. There's helicopters flying above us, flying over my house, flying over the hospital, machines and satellites all over the hospital. Even the hospital said, Michael, we've had every kind of celebrity here. We've never had it like this. This is unbelievable. And so I said, here, take it. And I just gave the money to charity.
So rather than, in a sense, what you're saying is, what you did was to get them off your back.
Yeah. Now they want to do it again, and maybe I don't want to show him to the world.
Right here on the Universal lot, Michael Jackson made the video for Scream. Hi, I'm Allison Stewart from MTV News, and we will have that video for you very shortly.
Michael and his sister Janet had been getting comparisons of stealing each other's dance moves for years. So they collaborated on the song Scream for the album His Story. His Story is a greatest hits collection from Michael Jackson, released in 1995.
In terms of the visuals that they're applying to Scream, what do you think about the combination? Does it work for you?
Yeah, I think the combination is really cool because it kind of is taking place in a spaceship or kind of in a vacuum. I think the spaceship is kind of a metaphor of the vacuum that their lives sort of are.
To turn the futuristic fantasy into a reality, Jackson turned to the video director of the moment, Mark Romanek. He's the eye behind breakthrough clips for Madonna, Nine Inch Nails, Lenny Kravitz, En Vogue, and R.E.M.
Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson for Scream.
And the winner is Michael Jackson!
The music video for Scream won 3 MTV Video Music Awards and 1 Grammy Award for Best Music Video.
I just want to thank everyone who voted, MTV, thank all the fans, and we love you so much.
And Bill Clinton was re-elected as president.
People returned to office, a president of one party and a Congress of another. Surely they did not do this to advance the politics of petty bickering and extreme partisanship they plainly deplore.
The His Story World Tour has grossed $243 million from 1996 to 1997, with 80 shows and 4.5 million people in attendance.
He is probably the most famous person on the planet, God help him. He has also sold more records than anybody on the planet. And he has also written, recorded and performed some of the most glorious music in the pop canon.
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
And Michael, always caring about humanity, meets Nelson Mandela in Cape Town, South Africa, to announce his charity concerts entitled Michael Jackson and Friends, The Adventure of Humanity.
Before the end of the century, to undertake what I call an adventure of humanity before the birth of the millennium. I love this man very much, and I love Africa.
This is a real honor indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is not one of the summer movies where you can close your eyes during the scary parts.
With nearly everything in our economy run by computers, the prospect of a digital meltdown is too huge to contemplate.
I've got a revolver right now, but I wanted something more.
Stand by. CNN right now is moving our earlier declaration of Florida back to the too close to call column. George Bush, governor of Texas, will become the 43rd president of the United States at 18 minutes past 2 o'clock Eastern Time.
Protect and defend the Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Okay, I have got to interrupt you right now.
Sorry.
Richard Hack, thank you very much. We appreciate the book is called Hughes. We want to go live right now and show you a picture of the World Trade Center.
Does not appear that there's any kind of an effort up there yet. Now remember,
oh my God, another plane has just hit.
On September 11th, 2001, the Twin Towers fell.
Our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
Held on October 21st, 2001, at RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C., United We Stand, What More Can I Give, was a benefit concert led by Michael Jackson. The concert was the third major concert held in tribute to the victims of the September 11th attacks. The other two were held in New York City. The concert was the third major concert held in a tribute to the victims of the September 11th attacks. The other two were held in New York City.
And now, our all-star finale with some very special people.
The concert was a half-day-long spectacle, beginning in the early afternoon and lasting well into the night. Performers ranged from music icons including Mariah Carey, James Brown, Al Green, Mary J. Blige, Carole King, Rod Stewart, Bette Midler, America, and Huey Lewis. Some of the starting stars of the time included Destiny's Child, P. Diddy, Goo Goo Dolls, Train, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, Usher, Pink, and NSYNC.
How many times can we turn our heads and pretend we cannot see? We love you!
Invincible is the final studio album by American recording artist Michael Jackson. It was released on October 30th, 2001. And Michael Jackson presents Invincible to the world on TRL.
Welcome back to Spanking Music Week on MTV. As you see, total and utter chaos in the streets of New York. You know, it's been a tough, really last 7 or 8 weeks for the people of New York City. Today, just getting an incredible thrill. The King of Pop, Michael Jackson, being so kind and coming to Times Square to say hi. And we are just absolutely honored and thrilled, and myself personally, to be here with you. Thank you very much.
Starting to have a lot of fun here now a couple hours later. The Virgin Megastore in Times Square, New York City. New York City, where people have come together at a time when we need everyone to come together. Here in Times Square, all brought together by this man in the blue shirt, the invincible one, Michael Jackson, and his record, Invincible, CD #1 worldwide.
The album features the hit song, You Rock My World, and a short film that features Marlon Brando, Michael Madsen, and Chris Tucker. The video is directed by Paul Hunter.
It's very hard to work with Chris Tucker because when the director says action, you just start screaming, laughing.
Come on, man.
I just look at him, his eyes pop out of his head because he's so funny, and that's what makes it difficult.
Look what else you have an ambitious nature and you may make a name for yourself. Like that's me, man.
He does these little things in between where he's just improvising, and it's very funny.
Don't know the words. Yeah.
We are presenting a landmark award with this year's Artist of the Century Award. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome a good friend of mine, the King of Pop, Mr. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson.
First, I'd like to say, Chris Tucker, you are the funniest man in the world.
Trip, man. Whatever happened to pimps, man? What if Michael Jackson was a pimp? Should be him and Tito be riding around in a Cadillac and shit. Slow down, Tito. Slow down, Tito. Damn. Is that my hoe over there sitting on the curb? Let me out. Come in, girl. I said, come in, girl. Where my money? How much you got? Mike, I'm sorry. All I got is $100 bill. Girl, you've been out here all day and all you got is $100 bill? Ah! Keep it in the closet. Now get out there and make some money.
And now we examine the effects of Michael Jackson on women.
One of the biggest stars on the planet, through the years, Michael Jackson surrounded himself with an equally dazzling array of glamorous women.
I'll be performing the songs my fans want to hear. This is it. I mean, this is really it. This is the final curtain call. I love you. I really do. You have to know that. I love you so much. Really. From the bottom of my heart. This is it, and see you in July.
Sort of immediate perspective.
Guys, the LA Times is reporting he's dead.
Carlos, I'm going to cut
now,
you off because we do have now word, according to the Los Angeles Times is reporting that Michael Jackson has died.
According to the LA Times, Michael Jackson has been pronounced dead.
To me, the greatest entertainer I had ever seen in my life. He was a gentleman and he was very kind. And I'll always love him.
Before he died, he was $500 million in debt. Now his estate's vast fortune, estimated at $1.5 billion, eclipses the wealth spawned, even by Elvis Presley.
Most loved and greatest pop stars that we will probably ever know.
In the hours after the news broke of Michael Jackson's death, sales of the King of Pop's album skyrocketed, occupying every slot in the top 10 on the Amazon.com bestseller list, and about half the top 20 iTunes albums and singles list. Jackson has sold more than 750 million records worldwide.
I see Justin Timberlake, I see Beyonce, Britney Spears, R. Kelly, Usher, Chris Brown. They're all sons of Michael Jackson.
Based on your experience, do you think that Michael Jackson did have this skin condition?
At the time when I was living in Cyprus and I knew nobody with the condition, we didn't know what it was, we had no experience of it, and there was no one out there except for Michael Jackson.
Michael Joseph Jackson was an American singer, songwriter, producer, dancer, actor, philanthropist, and father.
Michael Jackson died, yet the web of mystery surrounding his past is still growing.
I didn't see any of these religious people. I didn't see any of these performers. Michael Jackson was essentially in exile after he was accused. People wouldn't go near him with a stick.
I mean, they all descend, and now he's the greatest guy, and these are the same people who are hammering him.
There were journalists.
See, man, y'all been dissing Mike for years, man.
I never diss Mike.
Y'all
Mike's
gonna stop that, B.
Mike is the man.
The next story I see about Mike that's negative, I'll find the editor.
So you and Mike are pretty close then?
That's my dog, man. And he's a good person.
He is a good person.
Now, no matter what you think about Jackson, what you hear from these men may change how you feel. And Ashley, again, you spent quite a bit of time with these gentlemen.
I did, and I gotta be honest, I really expected they were gonna trash him, because so many people have.
Sure.
And there's a lot of blame that's being zeroed in towards Dr. Murray.
I never thought it was at the fault or at the hands of one person.
And I just wanted to say I love him so much.
To see Paris on that stage.
That's unbelievable. That is unbelievable.
And then, of course, that huge story and the ultimate charges levied against Dr. Conrad Murray.
Dr. Conrad Murray was charged with involuntary manslaughter, and today 12 jurors unanimously agreed that he was criminally negligent in prescribing and dosing Michael Jackson with propofol, an anesthetic normally used for major surgery, and that he was guilty. And so today he was found guilty, as I say, in court.
One of the things after Jackson was acquitted is that most of the media just dropped the case and went on to the next story, which I found pretty horrific. The fact that they had basically done a public lynching and then decided, oh, well, he got found not guilty. Who knows why? Let's just move on.
To Jersey City now for our next story. That's where authorities say the father of a boy who back in the early 1990s in a highly publicized case you probably remember accused Michael Jackson of molesting him. Well, that father committed suicide in Jersey City.
Jackson reportedly settled the case for $15 to $22 million. That boy is now a 29-year-old man. He has never spoken publicly.
There was no real evidence that this kid was molested by Michael.
You know that he wouldn't do any of those things that people were talking about. Later on, of course, after he died, a few of those people came forward and said, it never happened. We didn't do anything. It was pressured by parents, by this or that.
Concerning his relationship with other young people. But the truth is that he was never convicted of any crime. I never saw any wrongdoing myself. And whilst his lifestyle may have been a bit unorthodox, I don't believe it was criminal. And I think the world has now lost the greatest entertainer it's probably ever known.